Everybody see me? Hello? Are you all there? Say hi if you can see me. Hi. My name is Wiley Peck. I am the president of the Sacramento Aquarium Society, and welcome to our first attempt at a virtual meeting. I'd like to take a minute to introduce our Board of Governors. We have Josh Black, who is our vice president, our treasurer, who is Modesta Mori, our secretary, Dan Curran, a board of governors is Willie Markley, Ben C., Jonathan Wardrop, Aaron Markley, Stan Morey, Larry Shankle, and Donna Laird. They've all worked very hard to help me get this ready, and I hope it works out well. Please be patient with us. This is our very first attempt. I want to take a moment to announce the winner of the $50 Aquarium Co-op gift certificate. As you all know, we were running a membership drive for new and renewing members, and I'm happy to announce that Doug Lee won the drive for the month of May. We will be running another drive for the month of June. Please look out for an announcement on the Facebook page in the next few days as to who the gift certificate will be for and what the rules will be. We are currently offering several new products on our Teespring store, including t-shirts, tank tops, hoodies, and even some towels. This is the newest design, and there is a new promo code for 20% off that will be popping up here and there throughout the chat today. That will be good for tonight and tomorrow. So I hope everybody will take advantage and go get themselves a new shirt or towel. As you all know, we normally make money as a club via the auctions and raffles every month. And since we haven't been able to have meetings, we're losing money a little bit each month without that income. So I hope everybody will consider renewing their membership a little early, going and buying some merch, or making small donations to the club, getting through these hard times. But a little bit goes a long way. So any help that you may be able to give us would be definitely nice. Speaking of live meetings, there are 3 things that we have to have happen in order to get back to doing our live meetings. 1, the restaurant has to let us do it. Obviously, that's a big one. The second one, the government has to let us have gatherings of at least 100 people. You know how our meetings are. We have a lot of people that show up. And the government has to lift the social distancing restrictions. It would be really hard to have our meetings where we have to have 6 foot between everybody. It just wouldn't work with our current setup. So once those 3 things happen, we will be able to get back to our normal meetings. And as soon as that happens, we will be doing meetings again. So that is the current holdup. Once those 3 things happen, we will switch back to regular meetings in the restaurant. But until then, this is how we're going to be doing our meetings. And the next meeting is scheduled for July 11th at 6 p.m. The topic will be announced on Facebook in the next few days, and we'll also have the webpage and the newsletter updated at that time. So at this point, I want to say thank you all for coming and introduce Michael Pohl from Bay Area Aquatics, and he's going to go ahead and take over from here, and he is going to moderate and take us through the tour of Larry's wonderful home and moderate us through this wonderful Q&A, and please be patient with us as we make this happen. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and I hope to see you all in person soon, and you have a great time.
All right, so I think we are all here, and I'll pull Wiley. There we go. Perfect. I'm not used to doing this, so thanks for everyone and their patience. I want to go ahead and just introduce Larry and Mary real quick. We had their Fishroom tour that we filmed earlier this week, and we're going to watch that here in just a second, and then afterwards we're going to go with a live Q&A. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start the live stream video.
So welcome to our home. I'm Mary, this is Larry, and we would much rather be participating with you and being in contact with you at a meeting, but since we can't, this is the best we can do. So welcome to our home.
So hopefully we have a good meeting here at the house for the club, the Sacramento Aquarium Society. We are Central Valley Aquarium. I guess we'll start our tour. So we've got some cherry shrimp. Of course, a lot of these you've seen from before.
And we have fed them, so they decided to be up front and center for your viewing pleasure.
And of course, we had to start a second tank for it.
And they're all in the back because that's where they eat, so just know they're there.
And then we've got some long fin bristlenose albino
that we
plecos.
Would like to spawn someday, but they haven't got the message.
Yeah. And then we have little lupis over on the right.
That I have no idea why we're keeping. These are my babies. These are my angels. So it started out with Larry wanted cichlids, and every time we would go and he would have all of his cichlids, and I would go and I would point to an angel and I'd say, can I have this? No, they'll eat them. Can I have this? No, they'll eat them. So about 15 times in 15 stores, he finally said, you know what, buy a tank, I'm getting you angels, will you just be quiet or shut up now? And so now I have angels, and I am really happy. Along with my angels, I've got one rainbow who couldn't find a home. I've got some loaches, and I've got a couple of random plecos. I've got a golden nugget and a tiger pleco. Oh, Tiger has decided to come and join the party, which is very unusual. We only see him once every 2 or 3 months. Welcome, son.
Back here.
Oh, and you can see Nugget too. This is a glorious day. So those are my 2 nuggets. I have a red one as well, but he's in the back. You're
not going to see him.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Kind of see the outline there.
But these are my babies, and they're fighting as usual.
And then this is the rainbow tank, the little spoiled brats.
They used to be all cichlids, and then Larry figured out that these are prettier. I don't know who got that idea. After he made me buy one turquoise rainbow, and this is what happened.
So here we've got the Cories. These are the breeders. Basically, I just do a water change on there and add a little bit of cooler water to it, and usually the next day they'll give me a whole bunch of eggs.
Unless, of course, you want to film them, then they say, yeah, you ain't getting any eggs today.
And then we've got some triple reds. These came from a guy back east. He'd shipped them. The USPS had decided to make them wait 11 days to make it here. 4 of them survived. I was really shocked. This is a UV setup I'm tinkering with for trying to keep fungus off of eggs. So I'm doing some testing with that. And then I have some other, we call it the hospital tank. It's COVID-19 quarantine. I figured that was gonna be well worth it, and Mary said that's what it should be. I think she's right. And then we have...
So we just spawned 2 different bettas. This is a black male and a red female. And the little dots swimming around in there are actually babies. And it's hard to see, but they're there. These guys, Charlie, here, hold Charlie in. Charlie needs to be seen. Charlie's the daddy. He's been happy to sit here for a while, and he said that he really wanted a female. So Mel ordered Thailand brides, and we have babies, and we're really excited to watch them grow up. And that's those little dots in there.
And these are our brine shrimp set up. I do 3 different jugs. When we really get moving on the babies, we do 3. We just got 2 going right now. And of course, we've got the white worms, several different containers of that. And in the other room, we've got some micro worms.
We have some here, but these sculptures
Oh, yes, they're right there.
These are some older ones.
And here's some micro worms. See if I can open one up for you. Yeah.
Little babies. Dinner-ish. These are our preteen angels, and they're all leopard and platinum. You'll see the parents on Angel Island inside, but the leopards are starting to show their colors, and the platinums, of course, you can tell. And they just got a new tank, so they're like, what is this? Where do I go? Mom, help. But they're beautiful.
Then we've got some turquoise, some lacustras here and down below. And some of the younger ones. Then we got some black bar endlers.
And they like the little moss up there, and their babies hide in there. So we never know how many babies we have. And it kind of disintegrates. I add some more, we get more babies. And then we have a little pea puffer who says, I'm not sure I'm going to eat the baby or the smell. One or the other, whatever happens first.
And then working down, we've got the Papin Creek. We've got Parva. We also, Erica Booth had sent us some of the bettas, the Dumbo ears. And actually, we've got them in a few different tanks. There's one down here, one up there. See, I think there's one over here.
I don't remember if I put that one there. But they're pretty. We just got them yesterday, so they're a little shy. Well, they should be.
Could have sworn I put one in there. Huh.
These are our breeder praycocks, and they're F3, and we have a couple of tanks of their babies, which make them F4, but very pretty and always hungry.
There's Ungulum. We had a heater issue, malfunction, and it took out our other ones, but we still have one male left. And then we have some other Bosemannii down below.
Just growing
fry.
out.
This thing's waiting for some
Fry.
adults to, no, not fry. I'm going to do adults that are going to be spawning. Just like with the Parva. We're getting a little shy at the moment. And the same thing with the Papin Creek, Melitania trifasciatas.
The Parva are showing their colors. Come on, guys. He's pretty. He's showing his.
Now we go into the actual fish room.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean we have one of those too? Used to be a bedroom. No, it used to be a den. Then
Den.
a bedroom. And then, well, it only started with one fish.
This tank's actually kind of being covered. We've got some tetras sitting, hiding over here. We've also got some C125 cats, some orange Von Rio tetras. The Von Rios and the Neons have actually spawned in here. As a matter of fact, there's a baby Von Rio right here.
And plants that decide they like to go everywhere.
Yeah, we have a plant issue in here. They like to overgrow the tanks.
But they're happy.
Yeah, that they are. And then these tanks are for when the angels, once they've hatched, get them away from the parents, or before they hatch, we'll put the slate in here and let them hatch.
Put the slate in, we add some methylene blue, and we just kind of, or peroxide, and we kind of alternate and watch them grow, get off the fungus stage. We just have a little more controlled environment, and that's what three tanks are for.
Then we've got some other little junior angels here, young ones.
Those are our preteens.
Preteens.
And there's probably 4 different batches in there. Sped and Brianna, our Tarzan and Jane, which were F0 and F1, the platinums, and a few leopards in there. So 4 different angels, parents.
And then we come around to the Fasciata Calibaru. These are F3s. These are the young ones. We have F2s over on the other side. In here we've got the bristlenose pleco and the Cynodona lucipennis. Of course, there's always confusion between the lucipennis and the petricola, so we're not too sure which one they really are.
But they've spawned, so that's a good thing.
As a matter of fact, they have. Sometimes we get lucky to see one of the babies come flying out, but we do have baby petricolas or Cynodona skitties in here.
Which we were awful excited to find.
Yeah. And then we have some other Blair eyes. I didn't get this tank cleaned. These are young ones. And kind of going through over in this area, we've got mops in a lot of these tanks that I haven't had in there very long. Tried to just get some things filled up for the video. And then we've got the Leucustus turquoise here. And
that's more of a pure strain on that one, right?
Rainbow shiners. And those have always gone into spawning mode. We haven't gotten any eggs out of those yet. Then we have the clown pleco. And actually we had
just found 4 babies in there. I was moving the mop to make sure, see if we had any eggs, and 2 babies fell out. And it's like, honey, help! And what? And it says, emergency. And we had 2 little babies, and we went in there. So we had no idea they had spawned, but we were pretty excited.
Yeah. So on the Beaumont, take a look at their mop here. So I check for eggs. So get it into an area that has some light. Let's go down here.
Yeah, I can put a flashlight on
It's better. Oh, yes, here we go with flashlight. Opening the mop up, and then we've got some eggs.
A jillion. And we just pulled this mop 3 days ago.
There's eggs all over.
And we also have a few butterfly plecos in there that we would love to figure out if they're boys and girls and let them spawn. There's one you might be able to see way back there. We have 3 or 4 of them in there, and they're beautiful, but they just won't spawn yet. So when my husband gave up and decided that, okay, I was going to have angels, he built me Angel Island. And I have my platinum angels who just spawned yesterday with perfect rows of eggs. I have 2 tanks of leopard angels. I had bought 5 leopard angels, and believe it or not, I ended up getting 2 pairs, 4 of them paired together, and I have 2 pairs out of 5 angels, and that actually happened to us twice, and it's like crazy. I didn't get a chance to clean their mop or their slate before they decided to lay eggs, so there's some fungus stuff, but they just laid yesterday as well. And this is my 2nd tank of angels. This is my very first tank of angels that actually paired up. They were in my community tank. I had them for about a year. This is Sped because of her special education, which my daughter and I teach. And she kind of looked pretty funny, so that's how she got her name. And the day we found out our granddaughter was a girl, we bought Brianna and Shiloh, which was going to be her name. And so Brianna is actually a boy. Don't judge. He earned his name. but this is my first pair, and they've had, oh, 7 or 8 different spawns and throw beautiful babies. And then I have these Philippine blue. They're the wide fin. They've had 1 batch of babies, so we're kind of waiting. And then I have my red devil, and I ran out of room because somebody took over part of Angel Island. And my other angels, this is my second pair. Again, I started with 5 fish, ended up with 2 pairs. They're actually, together and have spawned a couple of times. And then I have blue marble. I only have 3 of these. They have not paired yet, so I'm kind of waiting for them. And on the far corner is my orange koi. They have not spawned yet either. My red devils, there's several of them in there. 2 of them actually did pair and spawn. We ended up removing the slate before we figured out who was mommy and daddy. So we're waiting for them to do that again so we can actually pull them. But they've been really a lot of fun.
So kind of still going down here, we've got some Hawaiian blue Moscows from Bentley Pasco, and some tequila tuxedo cuppies, and some Gardner Eye, gold killie, a golden wonder killie. So I'm into the gold here. I'm not too fond of these. Somehow some endlers had gotten in here, and so I'm going to have to change that one around. Amarai fry should be coming soon. Again, that mop just got dumped in. Corydoras Adolphoi. And we've got some babies in there. We've got babies in a couple of other tanks. And then, of course, more baby lacustris turquoise. And the Corydoras venezuelanus. I can never pronounce that right. But they've had eggs at one time for me. The ornatus, the parents are down below. We'll show you those. Bosemani from Itenjo. Okay, we'll start back down here then. So we've got some Affinis from Cali Webb. And they're always spunky, ready to, looking for food. Tequila Sunrise Guppy. Of course, I like that as a drink, but they're a nice little fish.
And we won't let them in their drink, so they're fine.
Yeah. So threadfins are not going to come out. They're being shy. Completely shy. You might catch one under the plant.
That's because the plant took over.
It did. Why. And then we longfin panda cories, and they've given us some babies. We'll drop down here. Oh, there's the orange kois, Herbert Axelrodi and Gary Allen strain. They're babies. And you guys remember the front cover from the first video. Here's those ornatus. We have some up top, and they're just saying heck with it and letting their babies live. So I figure might as well let them live with them.
We haven't figured that out yet. Why?
It saves the tank. And the pearl scale. Here's some more praycocks. There might not be some babies yet. Again, I just dumped that mop in, getting it ready. And more Bowmani from down at the other end.
These are the F2s, and here's our F3.
F3s. And jumping back into here, here's the Doherty Eye. They're being shy. I don't know if we can get them to come out. They're not going to show any color at the moment because they're being skittish at the moment.
We got pictures of them.
Oh, good. Same with the Amarai. We've got some babies back there.
They'll come out.
Yeah.
See your mama, they'll come out.
There we go. And then Blythe River, more Trifasciata. Those are F3s. And of course, I hope you got better pictures on them. They're not even showing right now. I kind of finished this row off. Oh, no, not quite. And then we've got some of the swords. There's some stir-by babies. And it looks like the Illuminatus may be spawning in that mop at the moment as we speak.
Don't look.
Always keep telling them to get a room.
They keep saying, a whole mop.
They got a whole tank. Yeah, look at them go. And And then we did pull the eggs, the mop on this one. But oh, that's a good sight to have going there. Let's see, then behind you, we kind of covered them.
Did you get the
Those are the ones
in
that were,
here?
oh, the sturbies, yes, I
Yeah,
mentioned
okay,
that.
cool.
And here's back to the Herbert axolotls.
Those are parents.
Yeah, there's the parents, and they're always friendly, always wanting to get in a lap. And then, of course, these are crevenzas.
We hadn't planned on breeding them, and all of a sudden a friend came over and noticed itty bitty babies, and it's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's why the rainbows were all over on the other end. They were
That's
scared.
it. And then the parents of the Blairi. They get rocking and rolling. Oh boy, they're just so pretty.
And then those, you got the name
Yep.
there.
And these are the fasciata. And of course, they've got some little bump noses. When I go to feed them, they keep coming up and hitting the lid. And they will always do that. They are just so feisty at eating. And then here you've got
So these are my oldest angel babies, and I've got, oh, what are you being shy for? Tarzan and Jane was an F0 and F1 of the striped, and these are their, Jane died, so Tarzan went into my main tank, but I have some really pretty babies, and I'm going to start separating them and see if I can't get a pair, because like I say, their parents are F0, the father, and F1, the female, so we're excited. And this is Sped and Brianna's babies. And I think that's all we've got in there. I don't think I have any. Oh, here's a platinum baby. So they're a little bit of mixed. And these are our oldest. We call them our teenagers.
Here we have a tank full of catfish. We always call them kittens. They're the albinos. I used to have praycocks in here. I sold the praycocks off. Next thing I know, I turn around and here's some babies.
They found the plants.
Yeah, they had found the plants, laid some eggs, and left some babies. So I figured might as well leave them.
You know, I had mentioned that I had leopard, 5 angels, and then 5 of the Philippine blue. So the extra Philippine blue came here, and the leopard is in here too, right there. So they're going to end up, as they grow up, a little bit more in my community tank. But that's the 5th of the 2 pairs. They were really feeling left out.
They were called the fifth wheel.
Of course, but you know. But they ended up dealing with the trifasciata Blythe River rainbows, so they're happy.
Yeah, they are. So again, more of the praycox babies. And of course, praycox are usually pretty skittish. But yet, throwing the guppies in here, it just turns around and makes them a dither for the praycox, and they're doing a great job.
It makes them all fight for food.
Yeah, that it does. More of the Bosemani.
These are our oldest Bosemani. These are more our teenagers, although they're spawning, and some of their babies are living up in the plants.
So we got a couple empty tanks getting ready for more of the babies to be moved up into this one and this one down here. We got a couple cories running around keeping some of the bottoms cleaned. But then we've got the Herbert axolotli. And yes, they're spoiled rotten too. They're not showing color right now. They're more of a morning kid. But they're happy little spoiled things. Just like the Papin Creeks that are down here. They're spoiled ones. They're little guys. And then we've got a couple catfish here. And a couple leftovers on the fasciata from Cali Baru. So I never put anything in this tank because of that. And then we will soon. And here, more of the parva.
They're babies.
Yeah. Spoiled things. This is this is a water changing tank for right now when I don't want to just pull straight from the tap. So I use it for changing water.
So this are our preteens. Or actually, these are our toddlers. Our preteens are down there. These are our toddlers, and they're all platinum and leopard, because Sped and Brianna decided that they have taken a vacation, so I'm encouraging them. But you can all start to see a little bit of color for them. There's a couple of leopards and the other platinums. So we were trying to get some fancy bettas, and we ended up ordering some from Thailand. So we call them our mail order brides from Thailand. And we just had our first spawn with one of these females and then a fancy male. And we also have the African frogs down here who seem to keep the bettas jumping.
Yeah, then we've got the double reds, pistos. I'm pausing for a second, sorry. And then with some Corys. And of course, it looks kind of funny, and that's where it got me again. And they're the same second name. Let's see if I can get these kitties out. There we go.
That always helps.
Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe I'll work a couple of, maybe the frogs are all out. They're out. Okay.
And those frogs you bred yourself, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, then we've got.
Up here is our Affinis blue holes, and they're really, really friendly, except for now. Come on, babies. Dinner. Yeah, I know. Mama always teases you. They get fed like 5 times. They lie on us. They say, Mommy didn't feed us. Dad feed us. And so they eat. And here we've got blue shrimp. It's hard to see them, and we had a bigger culture, and it keeps going back and forth, so we're still working on these guys. So when we decided to breed bettas, we said, okay, we need a system that's going to house them more, because, you know, when you buy them in the store, they're in itty-bitty containers, and it's like, that's no way to live. So Larry built this system for us, and we've got several males and several females. All the ones on the bottom are babies that we bred the parents, and these are the babies that have grown up. All the others are kind of a variety. Let me put all our babies on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Want to explain your system a bit?
Sure. Yeah. Basically, the way I've got it set up, the water's low. It's a pump will pump it up through the half-inch pipe where it's coming into valves where I can adjust the flow, and then it goes through a simple sponge filter or foam pad into a rain gutter, and from the rain gutter it goes into the larger pipe, falls back down, and returns back down to the bottom. Pretty simple setup. Dollar store little containers, just drilled the hole and does great.
It's been wonderful. It's cycled everything. Everything is, constant water change. And when I need to clean a tank, I'll shut off the water, drain some of the water, take the whole tank in the kitchen. And this here it acts as like a little Brillo pad. I scrub out the tank, rinse it out, put it back, and we've got that. Now, if I've got one with babies, I will go with one of these sponges just to be sure the little babies don't get through, and it's just a finer mesh. If it's the adults, they've got a bigger thing so that, more water can flow.
And then for shipping, when we go to ship, I actually have an oxygen tank here. So we ship with oxygen. Makes it a lot easier. Fish
live a little longer,
yeah,
especially with the COVID-19 and taking forever for the post office to deliver. It's been great.
Yeah, that helps quite a bit. So thank you everybody for joining in.
Can't wait for your questions. Looking forward to it.
Yep. And we'll talk to you real soon.
And we have a good time, and we hope you're having a good time with this too. Any questions are welcome. I'm a teacher, so no question is stupid, just so you know. Enjoy.
All right, so I think we're back. Can you hear me, Larry?
I sure can.
Good. Perfect. Awesome. So thank you again for letting us come and hang out at your fish room. Like we were talking in the chat, I got there, 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. And I think I left about the same time at night. So we were there for most of the day. And it's like Disneyland at your house.
Thank you. It's kind of a kick. Yeah, a little bit hot out that day, but oh yeah, that was a kick.
Oh yeah, perfect. And I am going ahead and writing down all of these questions that people are asking. And so if you guys have questions, ask them. We're going to try and get to them, and we're going to kind of jump down the list as we go. So the first question, if I can scroll back up and find it, was asking how to get fish from you. Let's see. There we go. That's the question from Maria, asking, how do we get a hold of some fish from you? Do you sell? Do you sell? Do you, auction? How do you get rid of your fish?
We've actually started a aquabid, and we're going to be under the name Central Valley Aquarium. But you can also PM me, either one of us direct right off of Facebook. So it's easy to get a hold of us that way.
Perfect. And then the next question that I saw down there, again scrolling through. Sorry, everyone, I'm still getting used to this.
Was to make an appointment and come over anytime and kind of pick out your own fish.
Yeah, that's always fun too. I got to net some fish when I left your house. Was it Thursday, Wednesday, whenever we went over? And absolutely.
And we do use oxygen in our bags.
Yes, and those guppies are looking great in my tank right now, and I am super excited for them. But our next question was asking about F numbers. I know we got a couple of responses in the chat, but if you could just elaborate on that a little more.
Sure. So like an F1 is literally the first generation from the wild, F2, the second generation, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And then they were talking, we had some questions about your water change system. And there's a couple of questions I'm going to kind of jump around on all that. But what exactly do you guys do for filtering your water? Are you using chemicals or using filters? How do you do all that?
That's actually pretty entailed. I'll kind of touch on it because I think we're going to do a few other videos with explaining more on it. And basically, we have a whole house 4-foot tank of carbon filter going into the house. And then doing water changes, I've got, not quite half of the tanks that are on automatic water changing. And looking back in a video, you'll see 2 lines. One is for air, one's for water. And then I have a PVC setup that I've made. I saw a couple of different YouTube videos on it. You just hang it over into the tank, and then it'll auto siphon to the other side, and then gravity feeds right back down again. Really great little system. It works perfect. So then from there, you just set them up on timers and let them rock and roll.
And how do you deal with chlorine in the water, chloramines, things like that?
That part is where I'm really lucky with the carbon filter that I've got. It's actually removing 100% of the chlorine. I have nothing in the water, and at the same time, the type of charcoal, which I'm not exactly which one it is. I have 0 ammonia coming out, but if I test it before that carbon, I've got chloramines up the kazoo. I wouldn't even be able to do a 30-40% water change without harming the fish. So that filter system is just fantastic for getting rid of that.
Perfect. And our next question was, people were asking about your betta barracks. Did you have any problems with the betas jumping out? You've got a lot of betas and a lot of shallow tanks. How do you deal with that? I know we had a couple of jumping fish on Thursday, so.
Usually the bettas end up jumping in behind the tank where we have our little guard, and they end up scooting down to the side, and we find them in the bottom tank.
Yeah. There's a rain gutter on the back side. So as the water pumps into it, then it goes through that little filter into a rain gutter. And then I plumb that with PVC to go down to the bottom tank for filtering. Yeah, they'll get into the rain gutter from time to time, then down into the bottom tank.
Perfect. And have you had any like mass casualties from that, or anything super major problems, or is it kind of like a once in a while thing?
The only real casualty having with it is you really got to do a lot of water changes. You have so many bettas in there, so much food that goes in. You've got to do a lot of water changes. So in the beginning, it was really hard to get it to get a good cycle going. Just have to have a lot of media in it. I put in little bio beads into all the rain gutters and all the foam going into the overflows and then filter down below. So yeah, it's pretty tough to get it started, and you got to be careful with it that you don't crash it. But yeah, it's just a lot of food going in.
Perfect. And then our next question's from Jeff Chambers. What's your favorite rainbow species? And let's do that in two ways. What's your favorite rainbow species overall, and what's the favorite rainbow species that you currently have in your possession?
Oh my. I'm almost thinking that's going to have to be the same one. Well, almost. It's the Blair Eye. That thing when that thing lights up, and that big old beautiful stripe going down their face, it's incredible to watch. It's so vibrant yellow. We're gonna have to get a picture of one of those up, and it's amazing to watch.
Yeah, awesome. And then
My favorite is the Bowman Eye. He doesn't like them much, but that's still my favorite.
Bowman Eye. Yeah, and those are the ones that we pulled the mop from, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. And then from our wonderful planner speech guy, Eric, talking about
buddy.
clown plecos spawning. You know, how did you get that to happen?
Oh boy. Well, Eric, it was almost like the same thing with our African dwarf frogs. Something in the water. We set them up with all those tubes. You even brought us over that real beautiful one, and kept up on the water, kept giving them some good food. And next thing you know, we need to check that mop for eggs with the rainbow shiners. Pull the mop out. Mary's going, wait a minute, there's something in here. A little clown pleco had popped right out, threw him back in the tank, and he swam up. We didn't even know they had spawned. So since then, we've caught them.
We probably would have never known they'd spawn if we weren't cleaning out the tanks really good. It's like, okay, that was fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then another question was, do you guys culture any live foods? I know we saw that a little bit in the video, but if you could kind of go over that again. And then a little farther down, someone asked if you had any tips for culturing live foods. So let's kind of loop that all into one question.
Yeah, we do Daphnia. We've got two different strains going, one from the Oregon area that handles a lot more of the cold and has actually gone under 2 inches of ice and still alive. That was thanks to Erica Booth. Then we have the variety from here. We also do white worms, micro worms, and we have vinegar eels. And then, of course, we hatch baby brine shrimp.
Yeah, which is my least favorite thing to do. But let's see. And then Vice President Joshua Black has asked, what plants do you prefer for keeping large quantities of fish in one tank, especially juveniles?
All the ones that grow. Those are our favorite ones.
I know you guys have a lot of water sprite and a lot of jungle val in your guys'
Oh,
fish.
yes.
As well as a lot of guppy grass, too.
Oh, yeah. I love the jungle val for some of the fish to get in and out of, like the tetras. We have a few of those that are spawning. It basically just kind of depends on which fish. There's Rickia in with one of the rads, and holy cow, they hide out in there all over the place, and they're doing great.
Awesome. And then we have another question on what is your favorite angelfish species in your Angel Island?
Brianna were my first, but they're not any particular breed, but they're my favorite. But probably I like the red devil.
The red devils are really nice.
The red devil is probably my favorite. Don't tell Ben Brianna.
I have to have a toss-up between the Red Devil and the Philippine Blues. Yeah,
The
those are
Philippines
so
blues,
pretty.
nice. Perfect. Awesome. And then next one is again from Becca Teen. Do your parent dwarf frogs eat the babies? I know you guys have been breeding those like crazy.
And I didn't catch that one. What was that?
No.
Do your parent dwarf frogs eat the babies?
Oh, yes, they do.
We
They eat
might
the eggs.
just try to grab the eggs before they get eaten and put them off to the side. So that's corresponding them.
And how does that work? I don't know. They usually like something a little bit bigger than that. But yeah, they seem to always get the eggs before the babies. And if there's babies in there, yeah, they eat them up. It almost makes you feel like they're the Pac-Man frog, if you know what that one is.
Perfect. All right. And whenever our next Sacramento Aquarium Society auction is, what's going to be the first thing you take to the auction?
Rainbows.
Lots and lots
Plants.
of rainbows, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're so used to taking the max, which is 20 items at a normal auction, and at the big mega auction, it's what, 100 or 60 items.
Yeah.
We normally max that out every time. Well, we're ready. So be prepared.
Sorry, I give you a bad time and say it sounds like it's almost time for you guys to each get your own individual membership so you can get that loophole and do
Exactly.
120 items.
At least we won't have to fight then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Although I make all the labels and do all the lists, but
Yeah. Perfect. All right. And we have a question from Dean's Fish Room, and this is actually something that I pointed out when I was touring your fish room. You showed that UV filter in your bar area that you were experimenting with, and it looked to be an inline one. Did it also have an inline pump? Can you kind of explain what that setup is and why you're playing around with that setup, what problem you were having that led you to play with that?
Sure. So when we put in the charcoal filter, the whole house filter, it does a wonderful job. The water tastes great. No chlorine, ammonia, blah, blah, blah. But I also noticed that my eggs were fungusing up more. Just shortly after that. And I kept thinking, what's going on? So more methylene blue, more hydrogen peroxide. And then, of course, you're killing them with love. So I figured I needed to start coming up with something else and try and play with it. Well, we've had it for quite a while, and I've been kind of slow on the draw on it. But then I thought, well, wait a minute. Why not see if it might be something that's building up in the hoses? You ever grab your siphon hoses and see all the fungus and mold or whatever is in there? Well, that's getting into the tank and can be harmful. Maybe I can help wipe that out before it gets into the tank. So I put it onto a tank as a trial, and so far, out of 2 batches, it's actually done really well. I think with maybe 600 or 800 betta eggs, I think we had maybe 3 eggs that fungused up. So we're really pretty lucky with that.
Yeah, and I was able to go ahead and pop this up real quick. I can't make it any bigger, I think. But let me see.
My gut's big enough. So.
But so you got to see my arrow here, Dean, just so you can. This is the pump right in here, and then it's actually flexible tubing, if I remember right.
Yeah.
And you have that running through the PVC just to kind of give it a stiff thing, but it's all actual flexible tubing, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And so that's just kind of a visual that I popped back up just so that we can kind of see that. Because like I said, that was one of the things that was super interesting to me as well. And I thought it was a good idea and an interesting concept that you don't hear about online a lot, because a lot of people do the whole house filters, but you never hear about the breeding and things like that. So I just thought that was an interesting thing that I just hadn't heard before. Let's see. And oh yes, there was a power head on the end of that as well, right?
Yes.
In the tank. And we actually did film a little bit of a video on that. It'll be coming out on my channel in a week or 2. I'm not sure exactly when.
That's why I was trying not to say too much about it.
I mean, more than happy to share it. It's all good. And Dean, if you shoot me a message on Facebook, I can send you a private link to that video if you want something a little more sooner.
Yeah.
But let's see. Next question is, how do you deal with your coal fish, especially live bearers?
The which fish?
The coals.
Oh, coaling. The oil is the way to go with that. before the oil, it was freezing, but it's it just doesn't seem to be really. It's kind of harsh on them. They still feel that. So using the oil is a little bit better way to go.
And that's
So,
clove oil, right? That you're talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
Perfect.
Put them to sleep slowly. Try not to. I hate calling as it is, but I know when it's got to be done, it's got to be done.
Yeah. Let's see. The next question is from Erica Booth. After you filter the water and put it into the tanks, do you add anything back in? Salt, minerals, prime, etc.?
I don't need to, only because I can do it if I'm working with the small fish, uh, because then I might be worried about a little bit about the minerals and heavy metals that can be neutralized. Uh, but as far as any of the other coming out of that tank, the charcoal tank, I don't have to worry about chlorine and ammonia. Only thing I do worry a little bit about is how much oxygen is in my water at the time, and gases for in the winter time. So I have to be careful with those 2 points. Uh, but other than that, no, I'm not having to use that. So detoxifying is a good thing, um, but I don't have to use it that often.
Awesome. And then Dan asked, are you using a blower? And I'm assuming you're talking about air circulation in your room. So do you want to go over your air circulation and humidity
Sure.
control and all that?
Yeah. So I got tired of just using a floor heater and seeing mold coming up on the walls. So I thought, no, there's got to be a better way. And dehumidifiers will put off a little bit of heat along with dehumidifying. Why not kill two birds with one stone? So last year, uh, we got a one for 4,500 square foot area. The room definitely is not nothing near that. I put that in there. And, oh, geez, I stayed 80 degrees all winter long, no mold, down at about 50% humidity. It was wonderful.
Yeah, makes it nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Becketine says he's been getting lots of babies and they disappear after 3 or 4 days. I'm assuming he's talking about the frogs, because he was asking questions about that before. Do you have any maybe tips on that?
Yeah. So what we did there was definitely the white worms, and why they were disappearing is a good question. I noticed that we did have some that vanished also, but at the same time, I mean, geez, when we could get a hold of the eggs, I would scoop a net in and scrape the walls, and I would say probably out of percentage wise, we probably got maybe 50%, and from there maybe lost a couple of them, but at least 50% of the eggs, because they would lay a couple hundred eggs at a time. And so I'm probably having the same issue that you are with that. But then microworms for feeding seem to be the best for getting them to raise up and then go to baby brine shrimp, and of course anything else after that. And of course, it, their kick.
Those tadpoles are tiny when they're.
They are. Watching
really
those little
tiny.
legs coming out and tails going away is like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the evolution of the species.
Yeah.
It's been what?
Yeah. Perfect. All right. And then next question. Then the next question is from Josh. What kind of lighting are you guys using on all your tanks for all your plants and everything like that? Yes.
So at first it was like, oh, I've got so many shop lights. We'll start out with that and then start running out. And it's like, oh, you know what? That's killing the power. So I ended up starting hunting down other lights and slowly changing them out. It's so expensive. And without any tanks, it's like, wow, a ton of light bulbs. I think, well, shoot, I don't even know how many bulbs, and it still needs more. So there's fluorescent or LED. They were going from the fluorescent, and they do not need a transformer. They are direct line directly to the wall. And I believe they're 12 or 13 watt, and they're daylight. I get them from Home Depot. It's you have to buy them by the case. You cannot get them separate. They're like $80 for 10. So it's $8 a bulb. Use rain gutter. There's a lot of money to revamp. Just gotten into more of the fish care and kind of left the lights alone. But use rain gutter, and I use the connectors, wire connectors for wiring, connecting two wires together. and I believe it was the blue one will slide right over on that end and kind of snap on just a little bit, and makes it easy for wiring, and then use your rain gutter.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. And then, speaking of plants, do you fertilize any of your plants?
The fish fertilize the plants. So when I fertilize the garden outside and they double it overnight, and Larry says, "What happened?" I says, "Well, sorry, I fertilized." No. We would never be able to get in the fish room if we fertilized the plants.
No kidding. No birds at all. Nothing. It's all other than the fish. Yeah. I don't fertilize myself. Um, they just. I think it has to do with that crazy lighting. So I mean, it's just standard daylight. Not yellow tinge. I forget what spectrum it, because I didn't get the lighting for doing plants. I got to just to be able to have light over the tanks.
Yeah, daylight would be 5,500 Kelvin.
55, yes. So that would be,
or 56,
right,
depending on the company. But and part of that too, as far as trying to think of what I'm going to say here, fertilization to go into the tanks. You guys also feed your tanks fairly heavily too, right?
Well, yeah, we do. More than we really should, and we know that. But at the same time, yeah, pretty much anybody's about ready to spawn at almost any time, which is kind of good. But then again, it's pretty costly.
Yeah.
So we go through an awful lot of foods, between frozen brine shrimp, frozen blood. We do krill, we do flake, pellets, and thank you again for that bag of pellets and the other crushed not Daphnia. That was
the SF Bay's freeze-dried Cyclops that I've been playing
Cyclops.
with. And the pellets were the extreme pellets that I had some extra of.
Yeah.
The little Corys loved those pellets last night. Yeah. They were all over him, and it was so funny.
And the shrimp. Oh, they would grab it and run.
There's some good stuff there.
Yeah, there is.
Speaking of questions on how often, that was the next question from Aquatic Monkey Business. How often do you feed your fish?
So we pretty well keep it with the frozen foods in the morning, and a little bit of pellets for whoever needs. And then at night, we're doing flake and frozen brine, a little bit here and there. It depends. It's the angels. Yeah, they get a little variety between pellet, frozen, and they don't really get flake. We never really give them flake.
No, they're more spoiled.
Yeah, they get more spoiled.
We're giving them black ones now.
Black worms. That was the other one.
Very good diet. He gives them flake, and I kind of go behind him when he's not looking, I should say, and give everybody a little brine, because they're looking at me and they just, this is not fun. This is not good. Mom, help. So yeah, it's a good thing I only feed at night.
Yeah.
That would definitely increase our food bill.
Oh yeah. We'll see in a second. Second part to that question is, do you have a specific day and feed the different foods you have? It sounds like you kind of feed different foods throughout the day. You're not like frozen foods Monday, pellets Tuesday, flakes Thursday. A lot of people like me, I feed once a day. So I feed frozen one day, flakes another, and kind of have a cycle. But
yeah, we always feed twice a day, except for the babies. We'll get 3 to 4 times a day.
Yeah. And like nighttime feeding is also light compared. So, it's just kind of like a, fill up the bellies with eggs.
Yeah. Perfect. And next question is from John. What rainbow fish do you not own that you want next?
Yeah, I saw that question. I was really hoping you would skip over that. We've got a lot of tanks. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Anything to get more tanks, right?
Yeah. The Gary Langai. Yeah, that's one I've really been itching to get. And anytime I find somebody that's got it, then it's, I don't have the spot right now. Once I get it, then it's going to have a permanent spot. But yeah, that's definitely the one.
We also want to get a hold of that one rainbow that Gary was going to show off at the fish show that he hasn't yet. The new one. We want that one too. Whatever it is, we want it.
Yeah, we want it.
Don't even know what it is yet, but you gotta have it.
He's holding on to it real tight, which means I want it.
Yeah, I'll get some angels. I mean guppies out of the way too.
Yeah.
You just throw them in that big mutt tank.
Angels.
Perfect. And then Aquatic Monkey Business asks, how do you guys keep your fish room from getting too hot in the summertime?
You turn off the dehumidifier and put a fan in.
And wear a swimsuit,
Yeah.
go out to the pool.
Well, and you guys also have some foam and some, what is it, the Reflectix tape and that, and some of your windows for the fish room area and all that.
In the front, that's another Home Depot. It's the styrofoam with the aluminum on one side. Really cheap stuff. I think I went for 1 inch roughly, and basically I used the aluminum tape and just taped it around the whole window to block it out, so I don't have direct sunlight going in there.
Okay, awesome. And then, sorry, my phone's going off. Let's see. So Dan clarified his question. Air supply to the tanks, a blower or compressed air. So what are you guys running for your air pump?
Oh, okay. So we don't cheat fair. Actually, when back in the room where we were talking about that little inline UV setup, so the noise that you heard in there is what is it? Yes. That one.
And it's up back in the corner here, I think.
Under the right, yeah. On the bottom.
Oh, is it over here?
There's it's not just linear. It's a linear pump.
Linear air pump.
It's a 1750 that I picked up at a hydroponics place, and just great price. $75 is what I paid for it, and it's running every single tank in the house.
Wow, that's a good deal.
Yeah.
Especially with all those tanks.
Yeah.
Let's see, I lost track of where I am. Erica asked, have you tried feeding your fry with pollen yet? I've seen a little bit of talk
Not yet.
on that.
She shipped me, thank you, a little bit of pollen to try, and I have not got it into the mix yet. This week's been pretty hectic, but it's going to be going this week to give that a shot. Can't wait to try that. And I got to figure out where it was in the store, and what store has it around here. What grocery store? I'm sure they got them.
Yeah. And then let's see. Do you have? I don't even know how to pronounce that, so I'm not even going to try.
Yes, we do. Chalitharina axorata, then yes.
Yeah, excuse the cat and the dog, boy, they're just being
yes, being scared. You want to say hi. And if you come over, she will be sure to bark at you a lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then Gary popping back in saying we're gonna have to talk on some rainbows. So that's always
Oh, I love it, Gary. Yeah, please do. Thank you. That would be great.
I think we're pretty much caught up with the chat. So if anyone has any more questions, ask them sooner rather than later. That way we have some stuff to talk about. I don't know exactly when the end time is going to be. I think we're just going to kind of go until we don't really have any more questions.
That's great.
And I had another question I was going to ask you, and I totally blanked on it. I don't remember. Is there anything specific you want to point out that maybe you didn't cover in the tour or anything like that?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many different levels of different things that we could actually talk about. We could go on all night. Anything from water quality to building racks, putting together tanks, filtrations, and maybe filtration. I love sponge filters. Hang on the backs. They're for me. They're not. I won't use them for holding biological. They're just there to help pick up some extra debris that'll build up, and then keep them cleaned out. Other than that, they're kind of a real pain for me. I'd much rather do the sponge filters. And I was making sponge filters for quite a while, and then they're so cheap. It's easier just to go ahead and buy them. So started doing that. But it was PVC foam, and then do the little square tiles. I guess they're 3 or 4 inch squares, and just drill your holes and do. Let's see what other tetra breeding.
I was gonna say for rainbow fish, what are kind of like your tips on just some general overall tips, because I know I haven't tried breeding rainbows, but the couple of egg breeders that I've started playing around with are a little more difficult than the live bearers to breed. So
Yeah.
what are kind of your tips on that? Are you pulling eggs? Are you pulling mops? Are you leaving them in the tank?
Yeah, I leave the parents in the tank. I'll pull them off, and then I'll put the mop into another tank. Big thing you always got to watch for with that is, don't leave your mops in the tanks too long. They will end up no, it doesn't work. Um, Bad outlet. Um, the If you leave them in the tank too long, then they have all the detritus and whatnot built up in there, and they don't have a good hatch rate. So you want to move them out as much as possible, change them out. So that's a good tip on those. Put your mop in, leave it about a week or so, and then from there, shoot, you may make it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
she's worried about running out of battery, so she's looking me away.
Plugging the laptop in.
Yeah. See, my kitty will let go down. Okay.
Sorry.
So, shoot, yeah. Don't let the mop stay in too long. Change them out, and then as I scoot forward more, I feel like each one. Other than that, a lot of people like to pick them off and put them into a container. That's great too. Make sure you've got, follow the. Gary Lang actually put out a really good little deal on hatching eggs in the containers. Follow that rule. Also works if you want to pick them. I usually keep enough parents that when I pull a mop, I've got a gajillion eggs. And so, especially with the praycocks, it's just unbelievable. I could probably get, not kidding, probably get, if I really wanted to push it, maybe 1,000 eggs every, just over a week.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I just don't push it because I wouldn't have enough tanks to do it.
Yeah. Especially now with no auctions and things like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Question from Jan. She said, loved this, thank you. I was wondering, if you don't separate the different strains of rainbow, would they or could they interbreed? So if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, they definitely can interbreed. You don't want to, if you're going to let them interbreed, do it in a community tank. And I kind of hate to say it this way, but it's true. Other fish are going to end up eating them, and that way you don't have to worry. If you're going to breed them, please don't let them get out of your own tank. Because once they start getting out, it's almost like the coronavirus when you look at it that way. If you interbreed, and many are going to interbreed, many of them will. If one gets out and somebody else tries to breed that, then, and not knowing, thinking it may be a true bred, and that goes out somewhere else. Finally, somebody down the road is going to sell it to the store. Somebody from there is finally going to sell it back to somewhere else. Starts getting into the market, and you're basically spreading the disease. Not trying to. So many people get upset when you say something like that, but we're trying to do the pure stuff. We're only going to do the pure stuff, and I don't want any crossbreeding. I don't want anything that's coming farmed that could be overly bred and have other issues come in, because I also sell back to the wholesaler who goes back to the stores. So I want, when those stores are buying those fish and they're coming back to him, and then him back to me with, where did you get those? Because the color is more vibrant, the fish is more vibrant, and you've got purebred. And then know your locations, where they come from.
And besides, if we ever let them crossbreed, Gary Lang would never allow us to have another rainbow ever, and that cannot happen.
You come collect all of our bows. Yeah.
I mean, I could hear the wrath in the back of my head right now. Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Oh yeah, perfect. And then I missed a couple questions on accident. What type of foods do you feed your new fry? I know we talked about that just a little bit.
Depends on which fry. If it's a rainbow fry, the golden pearls, 550, and that one, normally you just put it across the top of the water, just spread it out. Me, I use a little vial um, the little glass jars and a pipette. And so I'll put water in there and mix some in, and then use the pipette and feed it that way. So if it's angel babies, I'm going to do some little bit of micro worms. If it's cory cats, micro worms, um, baby brine in maybe a week or two, and then I just let them go down to the bottom. The cories go crazy. Then there's the other flake food, pellet food. I'll take those and put them in a like a little coffee bean blender and just crunch it all up into not really a powder, because I got that with the 550, and then that goes into some of the maybe 2 week, 3 week old. The other thing I do from time to time is I'll take frozen brine, which is adult, and I'll take duckweed and I'll grind that up with a little bit of water also, and then I mix that with the 550, because that becomes basically a cloud. And I do that for the Daphnia too. I kind of treat the Daphnia like it's fish fry, and not just yeast. Yeah, the yeast is good, but it seems like adding some of the other stuff, they really like that. I figure, why not share?
And it's going to end up in the fish eventually, so
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Perfect. And then Aquatic Monkey Business says the frogs that they got from you seem to like bloodworms more than anything else. What else do you suggest that she feeds them? And that's from Jasmine.
More bloodworms.
Yeah, more
I
bloodworm.
would suggest
Blackworm.
give them a second dose of bloodworms. Yes, the
Yeah,
two
blackworm. Yeah, they're
blackworms too, but they love their
oh, they
bloodworms.
do. Ours will eat a little bit of the frozen brine, and I like to change it whenever I can. But yeah, they're pretty stuck on it, because I don't want to go with one food only. I love things being mixed up, but they're really finicky on it. You can always give them another frog; they'll eat that too.
Well, they try to eat frog legs.
Yeah, all the time.
They say it tastes just like chicken. I don't know. I haven't eaten one of their legs to be sure.
Oh, yeah.
Change it up if you can. Try some blackworm, and of course your bloodworm. Yeah, maybe try a little bit of frozen brine. We can get ours to get a little bit of it, but
The fish eat it. They don't eat the frogs won't. He thinks they eat it because scone, but yeah, no. Then I have to come back and give them bloodworms behind his back. So
Perfect. And then Dan asked if you guys
but
have
at least
phosphates
you
in.
keep it in the freezer, so it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Dan was asking if you have phosphates in your tap water, and does your home filter eliminate it?
we do have phosphates, and I know that from asking the water company what I had in my water, and I've lost that, but I do know there are phosphates, which gives me an algae issue. And honestly, I forget if my charcoal does eliminate that. It is a chemical. It more than likely should. Um, I'm not absolutely positive. I should check with the company. The company I'm using is Pelican on
Pelican
the
filters.
charcoal.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then Mr. Rich asked, do you use your mops to spawn cories?
No. Okay, so a lot of that's another thing.
A lot of people do. Ours is kind of spawn on the side of the tank, and we very carefully remove the eggs and put them in a container, kind of like what we're doing for the betta fish. That works, but we haven't ever had them spawn in mops.
So, yeah, they haven't chosen mops. A lot of people also come back with, well, if they didn't spawn naturally, it's not a natural good spawn. Well, they spawned, so there's fry. As a matter of fact, I'm going to post on the website a little later. We've got some of the Venezuelans that I can never pronounce that hatched out in a containers, probably 20 or 30 of them. I'll take a picture and post that. And that, yeah, they just go in the corners, on the silicone, on the center, everywhere on the glass. And I reach in and I use my finger. I don't do the credit card or razor blade. We were doing the cleaner stick for a while, but it seems easiest just using my finger and kind of roll them off. They stick to my finger, as long as you don't wait 2 days, because then they're not as sticky. And if you go too soon, then they're too soft. And I have a tub ready now. Basically, I'll just take it off, flick my finger a little bit over it, and the eggs will fall off and go to the bottom of the tub.
Perfect. Awesome. And then what would you suggest that could go with Vince's red eye tetras?
More Tetris.
More tetras.
The Von Rios are great. You can get some of the neon other neon cardinals. Cardinals a little bit more sensitive than the neons are. There's a ton of tetras that you could end up doing if you're thinking of like a rainbow or something like that. Not always recommended. Of course, rainbows have generally a small mouth, but you got to kind of figure they're still going to try to choke on something small. But the ones that he's got there, they're going to be a little bit taller in height. Text back with what kind of fish are you thinking of getting? More tetras, or what other type of species? Because of course you know you're not going to be able to do cichlids and whatnot. Lunch.
Yeah.
And then we got some more questions on spawning mops from Aquatic Monkey Business, saying, what yarn do you use for spawning mops? Our mom has lots of yarn, followed by their mom saying, don't touch their yarn.
Yes, of course. It's not, as long as it's not hitting too well, you're okay. Do not, whatever you do, try wool mops, because the wool literally will disintegrate in your hands. The fish don't seem to care; they'll spawn in them. But yeah, the eggs aren't going to work. Acrylic always, 100% acrylic, and they prefer the. Larry tries to tell me that they prefer the darker colors, but mine do just fine in my purple mops. So I like purple, so I make their mops purple. But yeah, no, a darker green or a brown.
Perfect. And Becca Teen came back and said acrylic yarn. If you need floats, tons of wine corks. I know I personally use cork for my floats on my yarn. I know you guys use a little bit of everything. What type of floats do you guys use on yours?
We do the wine corks. Yeah. We have used styrofoam before. We had a friend of ours sent in some with the styrofoam, and they were just fine, and we'll reuse those. But wine corks, because the wine corks are the best. So because you have to drink the wine while you're making the mop, and then when the wine is gone, your mop is big enough. It really works perfect.
For whining.
Okay.
So as far as wine corks go, yeah, we make wine also. So we have brand new corks, and we use those. But at the same time, the synthetic cork is a little bit better to use instead of your normal cork. And the main reason is in your normal cork, and most times, I can't say most, maybe 50% of the time, give it some time, it's going to sting. And it still wants to float a little bit, but with the weight of the mop, it's going down to the bottom of the tank. The synthetic cork is a little bit better to go. Styrofoam is great if you don't mind the look of it. I don't really care, but I do like the look of the cork. It just looks nicer. So anything that's going to spawn near the bottom of the tank, I'm going to use the ones that don't want to float too well. But otherwise, yes, synthetic.
Yeah, well, like I said, I know I use the synthetic ones from the craft store. I know, can't remember who it was, but someone I know uses ping pong balls as well as fishing floaters. So they hit, Walmart and get a big old bag of the floater fishy things, and they use those for their mops, and they work great.
Great,
so,
yeah.
Anything that floats, pretty much.
So that means that when they're spawning, it starts bobbing.
I guess so. I don't use them,
That's
so
perfect. That's a great idea.
But I like the idea. I was like, I need to try that. I just haven't been doing much breeding lately.
I'm going to have to do that just to play around with it.
Yeah.
And I love the idea. Thanks for sharing that. That's great.
Yes. No. It's Well Done Tanks. He's the guy.
Well Done Tanks.
Yes. Trent's the one who does that. Let's see. Do you guys keep? And again, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I'm not that intelligent with pronunciation.
No, we had one, the red one.
Wait a minute, I didn't quite catch the question. I was still stuck on
say it. I was reading it.
Oh, you were reading it. What is it?
Glossolapis.
Oh, the glossolapis.
We have the one.
Yes, we have a couple. We've got, they call them the Iranian. We've got oh shoot, Wanamenses. Uh, those two Wanamenses are we were told pure, of course, this years ago. Still have them, but I'll never turn around and get anything out of them and claim that. I'm waiting for till I get a pure set that I know. And they're both male anyway. We do have a Doherty eye. That's another.
Yeah.
So
And then George says he just got some gold rams. Are they hard to keep?
Rams are a little bit harder to keep than others. They usually need a little bit more softer water. But George, also, if they're bred, local bred, already used to the water, shouldn't be a problem at all. If they are from a store, and they should be also fine. But it depends. They're normally a more softer water species. So keep that in mind. If you know where they came from, that it's already been in harder water and they look good, you should be fine. Always look for a breeder when it comes to ram.
Yeah. And then Jonathan Wardrip says charcoal shouldn't remove phosphate when we were talking about your filtering system.
Good, yeah,
So,
good to know that one. Yeah, so that would definitely help out for keeping a little bit of the algae out.
Yeah, later on he says too small, probably RO to get phosphate out.
Yeah.
So, and then we've got another question on what is the fern that you have growing in your tank and how can Jessica get some?
The fern, we've got Christmas moss. There's a couple different mosses as far as if that's the fern.
Yeah, which tank is she talking about? She's got fern in a couple of different ones. You know,
Yeah, like I said, I know a bunch of your tanks are heavy water sprite, are heavy jungle val. Water sprite, I think, is what she might be talking about because it looks a lot like a fern.
Yeah.
I know you guys don't have too much fern in your tanks. Water sprite, and I get most of my water sprite from you guys. And as far as how to get it, if you're local to the Sacramento area or anywhere near the Sacramento area, they always bring bags of it to the auction because I often buy it. So
probably the water sprite. Yep. Thanks.
Yes. So like I said, it's one of those. If I know I'm down in the Bay Area. I know we get people from down in San Jose, and I just hit my wall, all the way up to like the last couple of meetings we've had some like Redding and Reno area. So if you're anywhere near Northern California, once we start doing in-person meetings, it's definitely worth driving out to Sacramento. We post our meeting times every month. It's on our website, on our Facebook page, etc. Highly would recommend it. I know it's a 2-hour drive for me, and it's totally worth it each way, and it's my favorite day of the month to go out and look at. But just had to, plug the club a little bit right there. And all of our information is on the little ticker bar thingy at the bottom. So
do you have a picture with the Blythe River babies?
Blythe River babies. The little tiny ones?
Yeah, but on Angel Island, bottom tank has the two other single angels in it.
Let's see.
Yeah. No.
Trying to
It would
think.
happen. Keep going.
I was gonna say, I think it was that picture.
Farther into the video where that.
Let's see. Right there, right?
No.
Nope, not those ones. Oh.
Now he's looking for
Oh, the water sprite. Okay, I see what you're talking about. Right up here.
From the 100-gallon and the guppies.
Yep.
So that's wrong.
Let's see.
There you go.
There's some
That's
water sprite in there.
Okay, so keep going and then opposite side.
No worries.
Keep going. Okay. Now that's the thing. The angels, them, middle tank, and then bottom tank.
Yeah.
No, that's the middle.
So this is the water sprite.
Well, didn't you know that? That would be the tank there. Okay, whoa.
Right there.
One frame. Go one frame. There. See the water coming up above the water line?
Yep.
It doesn't look like water sprite. But I can pull that out. It's like a different plant.
Yeah, it grows different out of water than it does in water.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's like you said, you guys have water sprite in most of your tanks. That's
Yeah.
kind of your favorite.
I just threw up one tonight.
Yeah.
It's like they ate that 2 weeks, and then they were actually going to dinner. And finally, I said, "Okay, where can I put some of this?" And Larry's like, "I have no more room," so it ended up going in the garbage. I felt bad, but only for a minute. My angels had to eat. But you guys, if anyone's in the Stockton area, like I say, let us know and come on out and grab some plants and take a look around. We'd be more than happy to spend an afternoon with you.
Perfect.
There's a lot of echo.
Yeah, I just realized I have the audio on from sharing that side of the screen, so I'm gonna have to keep that in mind if I do that again. Because it's probably doing the video. I can't hear what I'm sharing, but yes, I'm sure that's the thing. So I apologize about. Like I said, this is my first time doing the screen share and all that, so it is a learning experience. Let's see. And then earlier with the red eye tetras, Vince says he was thinking about getting guppies with the red eye tetras, but has changed his mind. What about a red tail shark?
Red tail sharks can get aggressive. When they're young, they're okay, but they can get pretty nasty.
Something to keep in mind for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find the next question. Bobbers is what they're called. That's it. I'm not a fisher person. I was gonna say I don't fish. So that's definitely one of the things. And then Eric says, try a stainless steel fishing sinkers if you want your mop mid-water, which is an interesting thing. So that's another good one. And then Aquatic Monkey Business says, add a bell to your mop, and you'll know when your fish are spotted.
When they're in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. In the middle of the night, no thank you.
Yeah.
They need their privacy too. I mean, we do play mood music for them all day long. It's the feel good station, Sunny 102.3. It says it's the feel good station, so that's why we have so many babies. They're feeling good.
Yep, definitely. And Vince says he noticed his water sprite today was melting back, and then now it's growing back. Mine always does that, even if I move it in the same water. If I move it tank to tank, mine melts almost all the way back, and then it regrows. So that's just kind of typical for water sprite, I think, at least in my experience.
It usually is. I don't know if it's just the lighting or just what. Mine will hardly melt back at all. I can throw from one tank to another. It just seems like it takes off again. I keep the little plastic containers for garden plants. Starting out your garden plants.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put some gravel in there, and I'll root it in, and I'll just dump it in another tank, and it takes off. And then I can just cut those if somebody wants to buy them, and sell them off that way, or let them just take over the tank and then give them a haircut. Mow the lawn.
Oh, yeah. And then I just got down to the comments saying, what did you guys say? When we were screen sharing, you were talking about how when the water sprite grows out of the tank, it looks different than when it grows in the tank.
Yes.
And then other than that, we were just trying to figure out what exactly we were trying to find. So most of it was just nonsense. But that was the tip of it. And then we had Jessica showing it was growing out of the tank, not local to Sacramento. So, yes, it was definitely the water sprite that she was seeing. They do ship online. So if you reach out to Mary and Larry, they're in our Sacramento Aquarium Facebook group and on our page and things like that. Easy ways to get a hold of, or you can get a hold of me and I can forward on contact info, and they can get you some water sprite because, like I said, they have some great water sprite. So,
the Carter's had some too. Sorry.
No worries. Jim was saying looks like Oriental water sprite and not the original water sprite that has almost like celery leaves. I didn't know there was a difference. But
me either.
That's another. I'm a plant person, but I'm not the scientific name. I'm a, put it there and let it grow and it looks pretty. So.
As long as it doesn't get too overwhelming like what I've got going there.
That too. And then we had another question from Marshall asking if you're shipping fish right now or if you're holding off because of current events.
Well, then, okay, so it's off and on. Sometimes we're getting lucky where shipping is maybe like a 2 or 3 day it might be 3 or 4 days. We had one that ended up taking 11 days. Um, then there was an overnight through FedEx. We'll never do that again. Um, it made it there within an hour of when they said they were going to make it. I had troubles with USPS trying to do an overnight. Couldn't find it. All of a sudden, it's like it's just not there at the moment. USPS, great for boxes, great for all sorts of things. Lousy at getting there on time. UPS, in my book, has actually been better than USPS. Some people they feel the other way around. It depends on what luck people have had. I mean, I've had box broken out of the corner with USPS. Even and I think it was in Sacramento, where they broke the bag. All the fish were gone along with the water, and instead of them reporting it, something happened. They just taped the corner up, shipped it on. Everybody was confused. Like, well, if the bag broke, where's the fish? Well, they were out of the box too. So.
Yeah, I get that. And then C.A. Benner says, thank you. Really needed this hour of good news, getting fishy, great people. So grateful for such a great club and experienced members. We do have a really, really good club. I'm going to plug the club again. Like I said, if you're anywhere near the Sacramento area, it is worth the trip, even if you only come a few times a year. We even have some people that come up from Southern California once or twice a year, just because our club is that awesome. So definitely check it out. And then Rich asked, someone asked how to safely give away fish during a pandemic when the Sacramento Aquarium Society isn't meeting. He doesn't know the answer. And Wiley jumped down below and said, if you need to rehome fish, reach out on the Facebook discussion group. We can help rehome fish there. Or are there any recommendations for that from you guys?
But when we ship our fish, we make little masks for them so they're all safe.
Safe from the COVID? Okay. Yeah. So, Wiley came up with I believe it was Wiley came up with an idea that I'm interested in seeing happening. And that's kind of like what people are doing with Halloween. To go over to a school or something in a parking lot and pop the trunk and give out candy right there. Maybe doing something like that with selling fish. Have a day or two. Not my say, but I want to throw that idea out again a little bit more.
Or even there, like Wiley said, connections throughout the Facebook groups and things like that. Any other fish keepers, like I can't really take too many fish because I'm pretty much maxed out on tanks. But I know a bunch of people like you guys that might take this or might take that. So reaching out to your other fish friends, local clubs, etc. You can usually rehome and readopt fish somewhat easily. So
yeah, we've adopted fish that needed to be rehomed or saved for someone moving. We've done that as well.
Yeah, but not to confuse that with, beans were on a video and not on Facebook itself. When Wiley opened up the one little area for everybody to post to adopt out, that's meaning, hey guys, if you got something to sell, let's just say adopt. Let's not say sell.
Yeah, just because Facebook doesn't allow that.
Yeah, that's right. It'll shut us down. So say I've got fish to adopt, and then if somebody wants it, just go straight to PM. You don't need to leave any other message. Oh, hey, I PM'd you. Well, they got a notification.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Josh came in just for now and commented, please don't release fish plants or any aquarium species into the wild. Please reach out to anyone in the club first. And I'm just going to echo that because we will do our best to try and rehome them.
Yes.
Let's see.
Very important.
And then if there's a certain fish that you want to buy from someone, do the private messaging. That's always safest, and then you're going to get the answer you need as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And Jeff asked, what is your favorite rainbow fish for a 40 breeder besides praycocks?
Ooh, 40 breeder. You're really getting into a decent size for opening that back up. And that probably had to be like a Herbert Axelrodi, and then Parva. Parva is another one of my favorites. And it seems that there's a couple different Parva out there that other people mentioned on one of the other forums that I'm on. that sometimes they just don't color up. But the ones we've got from Gary Lang, they're beautiful almost all day long. I either we're lucky or it happened to be something in Gary's genes.
Yeah. And Kika Lottle asked, what are some of the challenges breeding fish that you guys have faced in your time breeding fish?
Not enough tanks.
Not enough tanks. Yep.
And the other biggest problem is the $1 a gallon sale at Petco. That's another problem.
Yeah, because then you got to find space to put the tanks that you buy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
Oh yeah. Some of the big challenges are keeping the temperatures right. So I mean, our room is kept with the dehumidifier. It helps it quite a bit. But of course, summertime I don't need it, which alters some temperature. Usually a little bit warmer. But you're going to run across some species that need warmer temperature, so you got to dump a heater in. You're going to have to use a little bit more power. Then on top of that, keeping the water quality clean. So you're not going to be able to just put it onto an automatic system and expect the everything's going to be perfect, because it could have little issues, a little overflow, or something happen which is going to knock them down. So you've got to just keep on top of it. Keep out any other little bugs. You don't want dragonflies, other things like that. I think pretty much our biggest issue was after getting that filter, dealing with eggs fungusing up, and I'm putting the blame onto that, but I don't have any fact on it yet. I'm still testing, but so far that testing is looking good.
Yeah, like I said, I still think that was one of the most interesting things I've heard of in a while, was just that whole filter system and the bacteria and the pipes, and it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing if it actually is going to work. And like I say, we have the new spawn from both batches of bettas, and they're our test subjects. So we'll see how they're doing. So far, they're doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Good. You're 3 hours north of Sacramento. Again, it's a long day, but it would be a highly recommended day whenever we do start to get in meetings. Like I said, I'm about 2 hours south. If there's traffic, it's taken me 3 or 4 hours to get to Sacramento before, just with I-5. And like I said, I know lots of people from San Jose area. We've had people up in Redding. We have people down in Reno. All over the place, drive up there. So like I said, if you're anywhere near of it, come check us out one meeting. I think you'll be very, very happy. We're a good group of people, or at least I like to think we are.
I think we're the second oldest club in the U.S. I mean, we go back to 1952.
I think we're the second. I was gonna say, I think we're the second continuous running
Continuous.
club.
That's
I think
it.
that's the speculation. We've never.
Yeah.
This is like the longest. I guess this is technically the end of that, but this is the longest we haven't had a meeting in like years.
Yeah.
And so that's like I said, we're a good club, and we always fill up the room, and the auctions are great, and we're always pushing time on like trying to get everything in before the restaurant says we have to get out. And
the pizza and salad bar are good too.
Yes, they do a good salad bar, good pizza. I'm a big Round Table fan, so that's always nice. But yeah, and then I keep losing my space.
I would like to see my butterfly plecos. The question is, who would you like to spawn that hasn't?
Oh yeah.
And I would like to see my butterfly plecos.
I think so. I think I would agree on that one. The butterfly plecos. Yeah. They just sitting in there and they just want to eat. They don't want to do anything else.
I would have said the clown plecos, but we didn't know they did that already.
Yeah, and then Wiley is asking why a 40 breeder is called a 40 breeder.
Well, yeah, basically because it's a little bit lower, shorter, so it's got more surface space. So a lot of people say low boy, they'll say breeders, flats. In the old day, it was always flat, but that's usually a square tank. So yeah, more surface area. So take a 55-gallon or 50-gallon, shorten it down, make it wider, and call it a breeder.
Yeah, I get that. And then we just got some chat in the comments here from Aquatic Monkey Business saying it's my fault that they want to get more fish in space because I'm the one that brought them into the club. And Eric's jumping in and saying, hey, she's the one that created them. Can't fault them for their hobbies. And I agree with that. And then
You just started with one fish. That was it, just one fish.
just
Yeah.
one fish, yeah. Well, I got into the hobby originally because I wanted a little like half-gallon tank on my desk to work, and the more and more I got into it, I was like, oh, that's not okay, and then I kind of fell in love with it. Now I'm up to 8 tanks
That's funny.
and 5 ponds, which is always fun.
So I had a tank back in the late '60s. That's where it got me going. Um, then of course I got out of it a little bit, grew older, and then by about mid 1980s, I opened up a fish store and then closed it. And then it was a member of a Sacramento Aquarium Society and bred fish, and then kind of took another little break out of it, and then got back into it again. And yeah,
Yeah, it's an addicting hobby for sure.
oh yeah, I don't think I can end up getting back out of it again. You're gonna have to put me in my grave.
Oh yeah. And then Rick says San Francisco Aquarium Society is older, but may not be any other club that's old that has been meeting continuously. So the Sacramento or San Francisco is another good club. I went to theirs recently for the first time, but it takes me actually longer to get into San Francisco than it does to get into Sacramento with traffic. So that's the reason why I tend to head that way. But yeah, so it's it's another good one. And I keep losing my track.
Yeah.
Let's see. Eric said to get the butterfly plecos to spawn, you need to get the pH down to 4 or 5.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, that's great advice. I would definitely try that.
Yeah, we time to turn on the yeah, yeah, yeah. Holy cow! Yep, time to get the other water going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think we're getting back to the bottom of the chat. Dan says he attended his first SAS meeting in 1962. That was much before my time. That was much before I was even a thought. But,
Okay, so that was the year before me.
Yeah.
2 years after me. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't born until 97, so.
Oh, you are the young
You
buck.
are, baby.
Yeah. But yeah, and then I think we have pretty much hit the end of the chat. I don't know how much longer you guys want to go. If there's any, let's go ahead and say last call for questions. If there's any last minute questions, we'll jump in. I know there's like a 30-second delay on the YouTube stream, so we'll kind of sit and chat for a minute or two to let everyone get it in. But I'm just going to go ahead and plug the Sacramento Club again, just because I'm going to try and do my job and make sure that, we're good. And like I said, we have a Facebook group, we have a Facebook page, we have our website. And then the other thing is we have been losing a little bit of income just because of the lack of auctions. We usually get a cut of that, as well as all the raffle prizes and things like that. So if you can, I'm going to post the link right now in the chat. Donate to the Sacramento Aquarium Society, make a little extra. Maybe since you're not paying for gas to go up there, drop your gas or your pizza bill or something. It would help a lot. Another thing to throw out there is we are also running a promo code on our Sacramento Aquarium Society merch, which is brand new. It's freshly designed. It's 20% off, expires tomorrow. And I just posted the code in the chat. So that's there as well. And now we're starting to get stuff to pop in. So I'm just going to go ahead and double check. Jessica Wiley was talking about, we have people that literally drive into Sacramento from Tahoe and attend our meetings every month. So we, like I said, we have people that come far and wide. We are a large club. There's a couple videos on my channel, Bay Area Aquatics, that show some of the crowds and things like that, some of the auction items. But it's definitely worth the drive in. It's a day trip for sure. And I believe our meetings start at 6 p.m. like we did the stream on every first Saturday, if I'm getting that right. I believe so. Up in Folsom, actually. But yeah, we're the Sacramento Club at a round table. All that information is on the website. All right, so we've got a couple of last minute questions, and if I can find it. Geekalot will ask, when did you guys start in the hobby?
Oh, I already answered mine.
Mine was a marriage certificate, so I don't know if that counts.
Oh yeah.
Mine kind of went back to the late '60s. Yeah, and then a little bit off and on, and breeding in the '90s. So when I closed my store, I had 150 tanks.
Oh, wow.
So I'd taken them back. So I actually had more tanks then than I've got now, and that was a kick. I did the garage and the back room, and then geez, I don't even remember where all those things ended up at.
Probably at club auctions and
Oh
everything like
yeah,
that too, right?
there were still quite a few of them. There were meta frames and pen plaques, heaters, and silent giant. And, oh yeah, all those oddball. You're probably going, what? What's that? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I got my first angels about 2.5 years ago, and that's when I started wanting them to spawn. Maybe closer to 3. It's like, why aren't they doing anything? Larry says, give them time. I said, I did. They've been here for 6 months. Why aren't they doing anything? So
Yeah,
finally they did.
Yeah, I got into fish keeping like 2 years ago or so, a little over 2 years ago, and I don't consider myself a patient person, and fish keeping has definitely tested my patience on that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%.
But, yeah, and
It's
then
good therapy, you know.
oh yes, it's definitely good therapy, and I keep losing my spot in the chat. This is a problem. Let's see. Maria, online auctions would probably be hard to do, but again, there's adoptions through the Facebook page and Aquabid and things like that as well. Let's see, checking up the last. Everyone's saying thank you for chatting, so I just want to say thank you again, Larry and Mary, for letting me come bug you for.
And thank you everybody for showing. Just love it.
Thank you guys for coming and being a part of our house and our fish and this chat. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, perfect. And then here we go. Jeff was asking, where was your store located at, Larry?
San Juan and Greenback in Citrus Sites. So we used to have Jungle Land that was kitty corner. And then All About Pets moved in across the street from them. There was also a feed store. So there were 4 corners at one time that had stores. And I guess we put Jungle Land out. But yeah, we weren't doing that great. Our name was Something Fishy. A lot of people thought that we were a restaurant. Yeah. something apostrophe fishy.
Oh yeah.
It was cute, but yeah, we didn't make it that far.
Yeah,
So,
I understand
and
that.
that was at the time that stores were having a hard time anyway with the economy and whatnot.
Well, retail is just hard in general.
Yeah.
And then George says maybe one day we'll bring a group from the Wilmot Valley Aquarium Society, which is in Eugene, Oregon, someday.
Oh.
That would be great. I would love that. I was gonna say, I know Larry, you've spoken up there. I was supposed to be the speaker up there this month. Hopefully, I'll be going in the fall instead, if we can start meeting by then. But I'm really excited to make it up that way and meet some of those guys and girls.
Yeah, because I think we're listed to go back up and do another speech October, I think it was. But of course, we don't know if we're going to be able to with the COVID thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll listed to go up again.
Like I said, I figure once we can kind of see a little more, I'll set a rescheduled date on mine and go up there and talk about cameras and fish.
Yes.
It's always fun.
My other question for you, somebody says that they had missed the actual tour part. You can get back on and see that later, right?
Yes, so once we're done with the live stream, the video itself will, I don't know how long it takes, but YouTube will put it back up there so anyone can go through and rewatch it, including the entire thing. As well as I also have the, just the individual tour by itself is also uploaded separately. It's just listed as private right now, but probably tomorrow I'll list it so just the tour itself is as a video on top of the Q&A as well.
You're going to have it, you'll have it on the Sacramento Aquarium Society, then also you, and then we're going to put it on our YouTube also. So
yeah, so we have it'll be on the Sacramento page, and then it can probably get added to the playlist for your guys' page. And then I'm doing it. I'm not going to have the entire tour on my channel per se, but I'm going to do some little clips and highlights and things like that, like I did yesterday. So it'll definitely be around. See, everyone's saying good job for everything involved. If I can There we go. And then Kiko Lottle, what advice would you give someone who's getting into breeding for their first time? And Eric actually jumped in a little bit later and said, don't start with anything expensive, plan on mistakes. And that's definitely what I did personally. I started with platies and guppies, and not even like the high-end strains. I started with like PetSmart platies, PetSmart guppies, etc. And but yeah, what's your guys' advice on that?
So which one would be a good starter? Yeah, live bears are great. Guppies, platies, mollies. Well, not mollies. Mollies can be tough for a lot of people because they a lot of them, you get that swim issue going. So platies, guppies, swords, they're great. Just remember swords. A lot of times, from what I heard on this one, because I've bred a lot of swords, but I've never waited. They say it takes a long time for that male sword to grow out, and I believe they all start out female. I think it was, and I could be correct. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah. And then as far as like egg scatters, I started with like a White Cloud Mountain Minnows and some things like that are kind of a little cheaper, a little easier to grow, but get that egg starting and good little starter fish there. So,
yeah, those are good. Another one that's kind of fun if you want to get into something a little different. Try the Corys, but go for like the albino Corridor Cineas. They're first breeder, easy to breed. Keep them at a certain, say 78, and keep the water going. Feed them up good. Then all of a sudden, when you see a female getting large in the chest, and you'll know basically it's a male or a female. Then do a water change and bring the temperature down up to about 5 degrees from the water change. As some people say, spray the water in. It helps. But a lot of times those albinos, you do that and expect usually the next day or so you're gonna see eggs all over the place. It's really kind of easy and fun, and watch them spawn.
Yeah, they're on my list to do hopefully soon once we get another outlet to offlet. I have a bunch of fish that are sitting in my tanks right now waiting to go to the Aquarium Society and be a part of that breeder program that we also have.
Yeah.
Another plug for the club. We have a breeder program that Larry is actually in charge of, as well as a plant program, and so you can breed different fish and get points and certificates and awards and things like that once you get to certain levels. And so that's something that I just recently started participating in 8 months ago, and I've really enjoyed it. So another awesome thing that our club offers. And this is going to be our last question. It's from Jessica. And what is your favorite beta fish, since you guys have a lot of them?
I think it's really become that little galaxy koi placket. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah, they're so vivid compared. So yeah, they can get pretty pricey, but yeah, I think they got the most color from me. Used to be the blue standard little long fin, but back then it was also the females had little black lines in them. Nowadays it's all colored up.
Yeah, and then so thank you guys for chatting. We're gonna go ahead and close up a little bit now. Like our president Wiley says, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're gonna be doing our meetings online for the foreseeable future, as well as we've been working on doing some videos and things like that. So even once we go back to regular meetings, we're hoping this channel stays active with some cool content going up that you're not going to want to miss. Again, I'm going to plug in our last couple of links. We're going to put this link, if I can copy and paste it real quick. If you can, again, donate to the Sacramento Aquarium Society. I don't mean to be super all over the place with it, but it does help. And then our website is also here on sacramentoaquariumsociety.info. And then we also have a promo code running on Teespring to get our shirts and bags and tank tops and other things 20% off. It's brand new merchandise, just designed literally right before all this stuff happened. So it's brand new. And I know Wiley's been working hard on all that. And then finally, I'm dropping in your guys' YouTube channel link to make sure that you go ahead and check out and subscribe to Larry. I know we started that channel when I was there Thursday, so it's a little bare, a little blank, but you're going to upload to it frequently and get it started, and it should be good for posting things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then Wiley says our next meeting is going to be July 11th. It's going to be probably 6 p.m. on this channel like it was this time. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you guys want to say?
I think that pretty well wraps it up. I really appreciate everybody showing up. The outcome was actually a little bit better than we thought it was going to, a lot bit better than we thought it was going to end up being.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Really.
We appreciate your support and being here, and know, as everybody keeps saying, we're in this together. Well, us fish people have to stick together too. And you need any help, you need anything. I notice a lot of people who need different things. Put it up on our club. See if what we can do to help. There's so many people that need things. So we can help. If it's not with the fish, maybe it's a meal or something that you need. Reach out, because we're here for everybody.
Yep, definitely. I agree with that. So, but yeah, thanks for, like I said, letting me bug you for a whole day Thursday. And let me make sure this isn't Wiley texting me something that I forgot. Nope. Yeah, and thanks for letting me bug you guys. And thanks for sitting here chatting and dealing with my my constant questions and jumping around, because I'm a little scatterbrained.
Well, we know how to get in with you. We know, yeah.
Your photography is wonderful.
Oh, it's fantastic.
You made our fish look even as prettier as they are, of course. But no, it was great having you. And your pictures are awesome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for working so hard for this. You're awesome.
Thank you. And then Dan is asking if there's any more fish tours or content planned. Definitely. I don't want to give out too much yet, just because nothing's super set in stone, but there's definitely going to be some more fish tours, speaker interviews, meeting stuff. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot with this channel, hopefully in the next year or two. Well, sooner than that, but over the next year or two. So be sure to subscribe to the Sacramento Aquarium Society. And yeah, and we're going to go ahead and say bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in and watching.
Bye, guys.
Hope to talk to everybody soon.
Yes, we will talk to everyone soon and see you guys on July 11th. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.